Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video, this time for the Plymouth British Tier 10 Premium Cruiser. Now, I happen to really like the Plymouth. I am a Plymouth enjoyer, an unabashed Plymouth enjoyer, but if you've seen my Tiger 59 video or my Kitakami video, you know that I am weird. I do not seem to like the ships that I'm supposed to like. I like these red-headed stepchildren. Nobody ever plays the Plymouth, and I understand why. It's because it's a steel ship and it costs a lot of steel, which is not easy to come by. And if you have that much steel, then I can understand the temptation to spend it on something that you know is meta. Also, a lot of people who might be inclined to play the Plymouth just compare it to the Minotaur and they say, well, I don't know why I want this ship. And the answer is, have you ever wanted to play the Minotaur, but you didn't want to pick between radar and smoke? Have you ever enjoyed the Minotaur, but thought, I want even more guns, even if maybe they fire a little bit less often? Well, then have I got the ship for you? I think the reason I like the Plymouth is because I always get into these really interesting games in her. And this is a game I'm going to call the Plymouth's Last Stand. So, without giving too much away, you guys know I'm not very good at spoilers. This is going to wind up being a total blowout against me. This is a loss. There's, in the end, nothing that I can do. But there's going to be a really fun part at the end where I'm going to have essentially the entire team, it seems like, pushing into me, trying to kill me, and I'm going to get a bunch of damage and take down at least one or two of them. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'd rather win than lose, but, you know, it was a lot of fun. The Plymouth is pretty much the definition of a utility cruiser, but somewhat unlike the Tiger 59, it's a little bit more well-rounded. So it has radar and smoke, which granted these days is a little more common than it used to be, but is still reasonably rare. I'd say the number of ships with radar and smoke is still like less than 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. But unlike the Tiger 59, and of course there's more design leeway. Watch as I take this torpedo. It's very sad. Ah, man. But the heels are really good. They're not as good as the Minotaurs, but they're pretty freaking good heels. And you get 4 of them, I believe. Yeah. You also get hydro. You get Minotaur torpedoes. So yeah, you get a lot of utility. But unlike the Tiger 59, it's a much more well-rounded boat. These guns actually hit really hard. I think if it didn't suffer by comparison to the Minotaur, it would be considered really impressive guns. I think the only reason it's somewhat downgraded in people's minds is because the Minotaur's guns are, yeah, arguably even better. I mean, they definitely are better because the reload is much higher and you don't lose that many guns. This has 16, so 4 turrets of 4 each and a 5.7 second reload, I believe. Anyway, point being, the guns are really good, and you can fire 8 of them off the forward bow, which is nice and handy. You can just sort of like kite in reverse. The guns are situational, as are, you know, any ship that has AP only. You're going to end up in some situations where you really wish you had some AG, like this one right here. But the Plymouth is amazing at taking out destroyers, because I believe this is short fuse AP. Don't at me on that one, but I think that's correct. And you know, you got the smoke and the radar, and so you often are just a DD killer. You end up being a DD killer. I usually don't have like amazing damage numbers in this ship, but I often have a pretty good kill count. I have a pretty good win rate. And like I said, I find I get into fun situations. Because of the smoke, I can play a little more aggressively than in some other cruisers. I've tried to play radar Minotaur, and frankly, I'm just not good enough. I get deleted with remarkable regularity. So the smoke helps a ton. But because of the radar, I feel like I can have a lot of impact. And because people don't really respect the 16 guns, some people don't even know what the ship is because they rarely see one. You occasionally just get to absolutely slap people, and it's really fun. I really enjoy it. So yeah, this game is interesting, and it's kind of a testament to. It's a little bit of a problem with World of Warships, which is it can be really hard to catch up. I mean, the games where you do pull one out are obviously the most satisfying, and they do happen. But we lost 2 battleships right at the beginning. One of them, I watched him just push into way, way, way too much damage. The other one, I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know what happened. But we're down 2 battleships, like just from the jump, with almost nothing to show for it. Like they have very few ships that have taken any damage, and we're down 2 battleships, and it's so tough in this game to then try and claw one back. The thing I will say about the Plymouth, as compared to some of the ships I've been playing recently, is I do feel like the Plymouth is a little better at playing from behind. There are certain ships. I'm trying to think. Like I've played a few games recently in the Groningen, and I feel like that's a ship that just tends to win more. It helps your team win when you're already winning. The Plymouth, because of its ability to get into interesting situations and positions, and then really hit hard with these guns if you catch people out, if you catch destroyers at short range, or if you catch cruisers broadside, I mean, you really can quickly delete people. I mean, you can also end up not being terribly effective because it is a utility cruiser for sure. But the number of times that I can save the day in the Plymouth is bigger than just about any other ship I have. Of course, most of the time you're not going to save the day, but I mean, occasionally you do, and it's fun. I wish it had a crawling smoke. That's one thing that would be cool. The smoke locks you in place, which is often not what you want in the Plymouth because positioning is so incredibly important. But c'est la vie, it is what it is. The detection is really good here. The concealment is really good. I believe it's 9.2 kilometers, which is great. And that combined with the smokes, I mean, it just makes you really good at repositioning. The shells are kind of floaty, just like on the Minotaur, so it can be really hard to hit small targets. I'm going to struggle to aim this game, just because, for one thing, this is, as I always say, it's just one game in these ships, right? So I haven't been playing the Plymouth much lately. I think they're the same shell arcs as the Minotaur. Yeah, again, don't quote me on that. But yeah, look at that though. All right, that was nice. 3,500 hit on that. What was that? Lucian? No, Yu Yang. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the guns are interesting because, yeah, like I said, people don't respect them, but it's basically Minotaur guns, and you get 16 of them every 5.7 seconds. And I mean, that's pretty freaking good. Yeah, I mean, this game's a total blowout. But at least I get to have fun. This is roughly here's where the fun part starts. Like, I can tell that these people are going to push into me. I mean, because they just want the game to be over, and I get that. They're not playing optimally necessarily. We don't even know where half the enemy team is. I mean, we had at least 4 ships just throw themselves away. So in that sense, this is a tough game. But I think it's a good game to showcase the Plymouth, to showcase the guns. We've got a few salvos in. It's not bad. But we're gonna more than double our damage here in the next, starting in maybe like a minute or two. Basically, when I smoke up. Yeah, when people push into you, and especially when they push into you broadside. I mean, you also have torpedoes. Like, you can do some pretty good damage. So I'm at 41k here. Let's see what we get to. You do only get 4 torpedoes per side. That's kind of a bummer. But at least you get them. At least people can't push you. That's one of the things I hate. I should have switched targets. I took one too many shots at that Schlieffen. I mean, I'm doing good damage to him, but we need to kill this DD. Those shots went really low. Come on. You got it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, we're up to 59. Let's see if we can get the Schlieffen. You know, I'm not exactly doing crushing damage here, but I mean, of course, neither would the Minotaur. It would help if I could aim. The shells were a little less floaty. I'm focusing on the Schlieffen as opposed to the Oshino because I know the Schlieffen's going to hydro me. I think his hydro is 6 kilometers, so he's desperately trying to get to 6 kilometers. Or I think once he gets to 5.5, my smoke firing penalty will kick in. He's smart though. He's not giving me broadside. Okay, he went down. It's cool. We're up to 70k. Let's see if we can take out this Yoshino. That was a nice 3 pens. Three full pens. Come on, buddy. Go down. It's nice 4k damage. I am forgetting to fire my torpedoes at this point. Alright. Up to 80k damage. Uh-oh. Smoke's wearing out. This is where that smoke timer comes in super handy. We're still not spotted. This Bremen's turning broadside. He doesn't understand. Don't do that, buddy. You may not know what a Plymouth is or respect the firepower, but I am going to wreck you. Yeah. Of course, I mean, he's going to wreck me too, right? But, you know, at this point, there's nothing more I can do, right? This is what we got to do. So I'm up to 96. Libertad gets a good chunk in on me. Doesn't kill me, though, right? You know, it doesn't kill me. The Plymouth has really bad armor in the front and back, but there is a narrow armor band. I think I'm finally going to land a torpedo. We're up to 100k damage. Remember, we started at 41, and we sank 2 boats. Let's see. I mean, of course, at this point, I can't win. I'm just farming damage. Just trying to see what I can do. If only my aim was a little better. Yeah. Okay, 1 torpedo hits. Flooding. 1 more salvo, 7k. And we go down. So 120k and 2 kills. I mean, but still, like, fun, right? I mean, it's not like I could have done any better in a Minotaur. I mean, honestly, I think that in that situation, I'd much rather have the Plymouth. So, yeah, I mean, I'm firmly a Plymouth enjoyer. I think it's a fun ship. It generates a lot of fun games because it has so many tools in its toolbox and can get into so many interesting situations. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you guys in the next one.